Welcome to this tutorial on how to get started with Lemlist. To get started, you want to navigate to bit.ly/Lemlist discount. You can see the link on the screen, and there's also a link below this video that you can click. Once you're here, you want to click on sign up for free. Once we do that, we need to enter our details here, our name, email address, and a password, and then click on create account. Now, once you sign up for the first time, you will get a few simple setup questions to answer. So go ahead and answer those questions. And then once you're inside of the main dashboard, like we are right now, we are going to click on create a campaign. Now we can do this right here in the center, or at the very top left, we can click on create new campaign. So let's go ahead and click on that now. And this is going to be where we set up our automated sequence. So to get started on this campaign setup screen, we are going to click on email as our automatic steps. So let's go ahead and click on that now. Now, once we are inside of this email, we want to give our campaign a name. So up here at the top left, you can see by default, it gave me this name here, which doesn't mean anything to me. So I want to rename this to something relevant to my campaign that I'm creating. So I'm going to say Influencer Outreach April. Okay. So once we have that now, then we want to make sure that we have the email step selected. And on the right-hand side, we have a few different things that we need to fill out. The first one is going to be our subject line. So in my case, I'm going to say free VIP access for headphone influencers. Now in the big text editor just below that, we can write our email copy. And I would recommend to try and avoid sounding like you are copying and pasting a template, right? You need to write this like you are speaking to one real person. And then once your copy feels natural, then you can add personalized variables if needed by typing the brackets and then selecting the variable that you want to use. And I'm going to show you how to do that part right now. So I could say something like, hey, John, I'm reaching out to offer you free VIP access and so forth. And once I'm happy with this, then I can come in here and I can replace these personalized words that I'm using with the variables. So I'm going to highlight and delete John. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to click on add personalization. And in our case, we want to add the first name, right? So we want to say, hey, first name, just like so. And you notice that there's a lot of different personalization options. So we can add a lot of different things here. But one more important thing that we need to add is I'm going to jump inside of my editor. I'm going to drop down a few lines here. Whoops. Let's drop down to the bottom here. Then we need to add an unsubscribe link. So once we are down here where we want that link to appear, we are going to come back down here. We're going to click on these three little dots here that say more rich. We're going to tap on that. Then we're going to click on this option right here that's called the unsubscribe link. And that's going to add just a little link there where our readers can click on that and unsubscribe from our emails. Then last but not least, we need to connect our email provider. So just above the subject line, we can click on connect email provider and we can integrate with Google Gmail, Outlook, or any other email provider that provides the SMTP or IMAP. So go ahead and get that connected. Awesome. Once we have our email connected, we can now move on to the next stage. And we have the ability to add follow-up emails. So to do that, over here inside of our canvas, we're going to notice this little plus button just beneath our email. So I'm going to click on that. And when I do, it gives us the option to add additional steps. So I can click on email once again. By default, it's going to say wait for 1 day and then send out another email. Well, let's actually click on the little pencil here and we can change this to however long we want. In my case, let's say 4 days. Then once we have that selected on the right-hand side, once again, we can have our subject line and our email content. So make sure that you provide help and you provide a value-driven follow-up email. So avoid saying things like, hey, I'm just following up. Instead, try and say things like, I only have 10 packages this month and I think you'd be a great fit. Then if you want to, you can go through here. You can add a third email, a fourth email, and so forth. But in my case, I want to integrate with LinkedIn. So I'm going to click on that plus button once again. And instead of selecting an email this time, we are going to go with visit a LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to tap on that. Now, this step doesn't send a message. It just shows up in their viewer history on LinkedIn. Let's go ahead and add another step here by clicking on the plus button once again. And this time we are going to send an invitation on LinkedIn. So let's tap on that one. And you'll notice on the right-hand side, we have the message that we can attach with the invitation. I recommend you keep your message short and friendly. And then we're going to finish with one more step. We're going to click on the plus button once again. And this time we're going to send an actual chat message on LinkedIn. So we're going to select that. And from my experience, this works well if your previous messages were seen but not answered. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, we have the fields where we can edit and submit our message. Now, the cool thing about these steps that we are building out here is we can see them in order as they are going to happen. And we can simply mouse over this and you'll see these little 6 dots on the left-hand side. I can grab that and I can drag it and drop it and reorder how these are going to happen. So I think that's a pretty cool feature that we can toy around with. Now, once we are finished setting up our campaign here, we are going to click on Lead List at the top right hand. Then right here in the middle, we are going to click on Import New Leads. And we have a few different options here as we can see. In my case, I'm going to click on CSV Import at the top left. And then I'm going to drag and drop my CSV file that has my leads. So we're going to drop that there. We can see our file is being uploaded rather quickly. Then we can click on Continue. From here, we can assign the variables. So in my case, I want to make sure email is lined up. First name and last name are lined up as well. If you don't want to use some of these variables, you can simply check them to go ahead and turn them off. Then click on Continue. And then finally, we're going to import our 6,000 leads here. And we'll give that a minute to go ahead and import our leads. Now, if you are building or maybe buying your email list, there's a few ways that you can do that. You can use the LinkedIn Sales Navigator to search for your target audience. You can even use tools like scrap.io to extract verified emails. You can even head over to Google and search for things like list of veterinarians in Texas and find leads that way. Or you can get your emails from association directories. Now, one thing I recommend is that you clean your list with something like usebouncer.com or some other email verifier to remove bounces and spam traps. Now, of course, once your leads are done being imported, as we can see here, we can see that full list, we are ready to move on to the next step, which is launching to our leads. So now here at the top right, we can click on Launch. Now on the next screen here, we have the ability to select individual leads that we would like to send these to, just like so, or we can leave them unchecked, and then we can launch to all of the leads that we have in our database. So let's go ahead and do that now. Once we do that, we have a launch campaign recap just to double check everything that we've set up. We can go ahead and confirm and launch the campaign. Now, once we have launched that campaign, we're going to go back inside of our campaigns tab that we see on the left-hand side, and we're going to click on the campaign that we just launched. In my case, it's called Influencer Outreach April. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now, here is where we will be able to view all of the analytics related to the campaign that we just sent out. We can see things like the open rate, the clicked rate, replied rate, the bounced rate, and so forth. And if you aren't sure what something means, all you have to do is mouse over it. And when you do, each metric will give you a little tooltip explaining what that thing means. Then as the campaign takes place, we can scroll down a little bit further and you will begin to see individual emails and how they performed. We can see who opened the email, who clicked on the email, who replied to the email, and so forth. Now, as a reminder, the open rate isn't the only thing that matters with these campaigns. The real goal is qualified replies and pipeline revenue. If your email is new, then use the Lemworm feature to avoid getting flagged as spam. And this is just your first walkthrough. Lemlist has lots of powerful features that you can explore, but now you know how to write and schedule emails, build multi-step campaigns, import targeted leads, and monitor key performance metrics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.